Welcome back to your Heat Latest on FanArc. I'm Sam Shapiro. Well, if you're a sports fanatic, a basketball enthusiast, or just somewhere in between like myself, Underdog Fantasy is somewhere you're going to want to be. At least for me personally, watching a lot of these games over the course of the NBA season, I have found myself caring a lot about just a handful of games that I definitely would not have been really invested in unless I had made picks on them through the Underdog Fantasy app. It's definitely gotten me on the edge of my couch a lot more this season. You could join in on that with me as well. You can get started scanning this QR code right here. Download the app today. Use promo code BasketballFan to score $75 after you play your first $5. Now, again, action all happening on Underdog Fantasy. And again, thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. We're going to dive into the trade rumors surrounding Ja Morant, how they're now suggesting Morant's not going to the 305, as well as recapping Saturday's win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But before we do that, don't forget to drop a like on this video. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. We've got great daily content you don't want to miss, all right here, Monday through Friday. Now it's being thrown out there that the talks for Morant going to Miami were overstated. It's highly unlikely he's going to end up in the 305. I'm not surprised. I feel like 90% of Miami Heat fans were waiting for this to come down, and here we are Monday morning, as a lot of those, at least reports being thrown out there, were suggesting on Friday that now Morant unlikely to go to Miami. Although Shams said the Heat was interested in Morant, and Anthony Chang confirmed a conversation between the teams was going on, but nothing being remotely close in terms of a concrete deal coming to fruition. ESPN's Windy and Bontemps reported that a Heat pursuit of Miami is highly unlikely, and the Heat want cap space for the 2028 offseason, where there could potentially be more good free agents out there. Again, not surprised that it's being reported Miami wants to be patient and look for a better potential superstar. And I think that a lot also comes with Antetokounmpo, basically, at least at this point in time, making it seem like he's not going to be going anywhere, at least until this upcoming summer. But if that's the scenario you're kind of at least playing out right now and waiting to see what, develops over the course of the next couple of months, is it really worth Miami to be this patient? Is this really what we're looking at in terms of Miami waiting for this summer or next summer to potentially make a big move when they would have more cap space and flexibility to bring in a franchise-changing player? Because when you're looking at free agency season 2028, that summer, you have a lot more, I feel like, wiggle room to go for guys like Nikola Jokic, Antetokounmpo, assuming that he stays in Milwaukee, and then Donovan Mitchell as well. In that regard, do you think Miami's being a little too patient, not trying to at least put their name in the ring to bring on a superstar player, at least at this point in the season? Maybe they feel that they don't want to do this midseason, and it's not giving it enough justice to see how it develops and blossoms over the course of, the second half of this year, but they want to at least see what that experiment would look like starting fresh at the beginning of a regular season. I don't think this is necessarily the worst idea Miami has ever had because, again, I think it exerts patience over panic. They didn't say, well, December looked pretty bad, and now Miami is looking extremely mediocre in the month of January when you look at all their games meshed up together. Granted, they've had a few good games in there as well, but it's definitely showing that they're not panicking right now, thinking that they have to jump the gun on making some superstar blockbuster deal, at least for Ja Morant, happen. I think if the opportunity to get Antetokounmpo presented itself, this would be shaping up a little bit different right now. But I think that it's not the worst thing in the world that the Heat are not at least exploring a deal that might not be worth the risk. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think if anything, it shows we're willing to settle for being around 500 through the course of the rest of this season. And if we've got to wait for the next year to go by and then see what's available in terms of a franchise-changing player, It's also not a terrible idea, but you've still got this upcoming summer too to see what options might be floating around in the pond of free agents. So drop in the comments if you think Miami is being a little too patient, because I don't think necessarily not going after John Morant means they're going to wait until 2028. But I think if they have an opportunity to get a higher level superstar in not just one off season, but two off seasons from now, they'd rather gamble on that than potentially going for a copy paste job to what their roster might look like right now and settling for something that at least isn't going to be a clear-cut perfect match for this team. So again, not totally upset Miami throwing their name, or at least the reports are suggesting that Miami is not interested in acquiring John Morant, and I'm hopeful that means they're going to maintain at least this level of play we have seen, looking into the future, and then potentially bringing on an even better player that will hopefully make Miami a championship contending team before 2029. But we'll just kind of have to wait and see how all that pans out. And again, kind of awkward, I feel like, to see the reports go from he's coming to he's definitely not coming, all with what seemed like on the drop of a dime. Before we get into the recap of Saturday's win against the defending champs, just want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, that being Underdog Fantasy. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Now, playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Atlanta Hawks and selecting Giannis Antetokounmpo for higher than 28.5 points and CJ McCollum for higher than 17.5 points. Download the app today and use promo code BASKETBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, that's promo code BASKETBALLFAN. It's all on Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-878 or text HOMI 467-369.
Miami with a big win against the Oklahoma City Thunder at home this weekend, taking down the defending champs 122-120 at the Kaseya Center. Definitely an exciting win for Miami, considering they had lost previously to the Thunder this month, but was more exciting to just see them get this done without Tyler Hero on the floor, and Norman Powell honestly not having a great shooting game. He shot 5 of 15 from the field despite still having 19 points in this contest for the 305. Andrew Wiggins contributing 15 points on kind of a silly shooting night for him was also somewhat exciting to see, but Adebayo continuing to play high-level basketball as we'd seen from Tuesday's game against Phoenix. He at least seems like he's turned a corner in terms of being a contributing, not cold player from the field. Now, granted, he didn't shoot amazing in Saturday's game, 9 of 22, but the guy still brought in 30 points for Miami, having a great day. I mean, that was just a good thing to see, especially from this Miami team that, or at least through the last, I would say at this point, 13 to 14 games, the majority of them not being what we would expect to see from Adebayo on any given night. But big things for Miami in this game that were great. They shot 40% from the field. The team made 23s in this game. And I hate to re-harp on this over and over again with this Miami team, but when they shoot well or they shoot decently enough, they're usually in a good position to win a lot of these games. Now, granted, they only shot 37% from the field, so they actually shot better from beyond the arc, but the fact that they only gave up 4 turnovers to this Oklahoma City Thunder team on a night where Shai Gilgeous had 39 points. It's not like the Thunder had a bad game either. They shot, I believe, 54% from the field. I believe 44% from 3, somewhere in that ballpark. But the fact that Miami only gave up 4 turnovers to a team that I believe scores at least, I think, right around 20 to 25 points off forced turnovers a night. I mean, it's a big reason why they won this game, even if it was only by 2. So I think these two things looking ahead for Miami, if they can keep that pretty cleaned up in terms of shooting the ball from beyond the arc relatively efficiently, even if they're making 15 threes or 12 threes as a team. If they can shoot the ball from 3 relatively efficiently and limit the turnovers as much as they did really in this game, then I think this 5-game road trip Miami is embarking on coming up is going to look, it's going to be at least a fun week, give or take, of basketball to watch from this Miami team. Miami kicking that off tonight against the Golden State Warriors, followed by Tuesday's matchup against the Kings. Then Thursday, they'll face off against the Portland Trail Blazers, and then tip off against the Utah Jazz on Saturday. And then after that, Sunday's game against the Phoenix Suns. So they've beaten this Phoenix team before. They've beaten this Portland team before. So aside from the revenge game against the Kings, I mean, the Warriors and the Jazz only seem like the two that could potentially be toss-ups for this Miami team to lose. And yes, Miami has also beaten this Golden State Warriors team this season, but what did Golden State have at their disposal in that game? Basically nothing, in my opinion. But I think if Miami can at least walk out of this road trip winning 4 games, that would be great. I think it's only going to be 3, the games against the Kings, the Blazers, and the Suns. But if they can pick up all 5, that would be great, especially in this really tight Eastern Conference race. And again, if they can shoot the ball efficiently and limit the turnovers, then I think we could be in for a very exciting streak of games that this Miami team is going to embark on. That's going to do it for today's episode of your Heat Latest on FanArc. Don't forget to drop a like on this video and, of course, subscribe to our channel. We've got great daily content you don't want to miss right here Monday through Friday. Thanks again. I'm Sam Shapiro. Have a great Monday.